In this video, we will introduce jQuery basics. The jQuery library makes it easy to manipulate a page of HTML after it's displayed by the browser. It also provides tools that help you listen for a user to interact with your page, tools that help you create animations in your page, and tools that let you communicate with the server without reloading the page. First, let's look at some jQuery basics. And let's look at how to set up our application to use it and then progress to manipulate our elements. Let's look at a basic example. We have here our jQuery basic.jsp page, and we're going to manipulate our page with jQuery. The first thing to do is to use the script tag to define our jQuery library. If you go to jQuery website, you are able to download the jQuery library. Another option is to use the Google Ajax Library's content delivery network to serve jQuery to your users directly from Google's network of data centers. Doing so has several advantages over hosting jQuery on your servers. Has decreased latency, increased parallelism, and better caching. I will use Google CDN network and just provide the URL to the jQuery library. I'm going to use the source attribute, and I'm going to type in the URL to the jQuery library. And remember that what this facilitates is that instead of storing your JavaScript locally on your web server, you're able to deliver it via Google CDN network. Following, I'm going to be loading my JavaScript file that uses this jQuery library. But before that, notice that I have 3 div tags here. We're going to first add a CSS to our first div tag using jQuery. And I'm going to be calling various functions that I'll explain to you what they do. Now notice we have found all the div elements in the HTML page using the jQuery function. And then using jQuery method, we selected the first div, and then we add CSS calling the CSS method. So this method here selects all the div tags. This method out of the group selects the first one, and then we add CSS to that first div tag. Now let's add some more code. To collect a group of elements, we pass selector to the jQuery function using the simple syntax that starts with the $sign and parentheses. There are all types of selectors available in jQuery. Always use either the $sign and the parentheses syntax or a jQuery method. So as you notice here, I have the jQuery method, and here I have the $sign syntax. Both do the exact same thing. Although you may find the $sign and parentheses syntax notation strange at first, but most jQuery users quickly become fond of its brevity. We pass to our faction function the name of our tag or element, which represents a tag name available in the DOM. For example, the $sign in the parentheses embedded with a div name selects all the divs in the document, just like the first method did. And in this time, instead of changing or adding the CSS, we're actually changing the text value of it. Let's continue with 2 more examples. Again, I'll use the $sign parentheses. And I'll be adding some more CSS. Now we use an index to select the second div tag and add a CSS class to it. And that's what we use the EQ. And just like an array, and it has an offset of 1. So it begins with 0, 1, 2, 3, number 1 being the second in position. Now I'm going to select my last or third div tag, and I'm going to be hiding it. So we now use the last method to select the last div tag and also use the hide method to hide our last div tag. Now let's demonstrate our functionality with our web app. We're going to be opening up the web address using the internal web browser. I have the internal browser open in a tab. If you don't have it showing, you can use Eclipse's built-in browser by selecting the window from the Workbench menu bar, navigating to Show View, and then selecting Other, making sure that the general folder is opening, and then selecting internal web browser. In the address bar, I'm going to be typing the jQuery basic.jsp. We can see that our output from our JSP is rendered by using the jQuery. You notice that I have no CSS in the document, and that although I have 3 div tags, there's only 2 showing, one with a thick double border and another with a black one. And our hide function did effectively hide our 3rd div tag. This concludes our discussion of jQuery basics.